Picture this. You drive 2 hours up into the Rockies, the air gets thin and sharp, you finally get to the one place on earth that feels like peace. The cabin your wife's grandfather built with his own hands. And you find a stranger standing in your living room holding bolt cutters, smiling. That was my Friday, the deadbolt, the big heavy-duty one my dad and I installed. It was sheared clean through, just lying in the dirt like a murdered pet. And the door, my door, just hanging open, inside. My furniture was shoved around. Clara's pictures, my wife's pictures that were face down on the floor, and she was in the middle of it all. Meredith Vance, HOA president, Satan in a tennis visor, just cataloging my violations. She purred. I swear. Your dues were 3 days late, Sam, she said, waving her clipboard. Section 12.4 permits emergency access, and just then, 2 guys in full tactical vests stepped out of my bedroom, my wife's bedroom, sidearms drawn. Meredith's spray-tanned face, it crumbled. It went from smug to snowman white in half a second. Freeze frame that expression. I'll remember it forever. She didn't know. She couldn't know that I'd spent 3 months setting this trap. What would you do if an HOA Karen broke into your family sanctuary? Comment below and tell me, has your HOA ever committed actual crimes against you? Let me rewind 6 months so you understand how we got here. My name's Sam, 52. I make furniture. I'm semi-retired, widowed. 4 years back, an accident took Clara way too young. This cabin, 40 acres, pine and creek bottom, high up in the Colorado Rockies, it was her place. Her grandpa, he built it in the 60s. Every beam. After she was gone, the workshop, her dad built it. It became my church weekends. I'd drive up from Denver, step out, and the air, it tastes like pine and metal. And I'd feel almost human again. My daughter, Maya, she's a geologist, stubborn like her mom. She brings my grandson, Leo, up once a month. Kid 6. Last visit, he caught his first trout with the same rod my grandpa taught me on, and I swear, I saw Clara smiling in the way the light hit the water. This place, it isn't real estate. It's 3 generations of life. Then Meredith Vance bought the cabin 2 lots over. She rolled in fresh from selling some finance thing in Denver. Platinum blonde hair that had to cost more than my truck, white Range Rover, and the smell of her perfume. I mean, imagine a perfume factory having the panic attack. It arrived 32nd before she did. 3 months later, she's HOA president, running on a modernization platform. In practice, that meant she looked at cabins owned by families like mine, and she saw opportunities. Her husband, Richard, he runs a luxury development company. Everyone in town knows it's hemorrhaging money, but, small town, nobody says it. Meredith, she needs control. The way a drowning person needs air. She decided that rustic cabins like mine were dragging down property values. 6 months ago, I pull up on a Saturday, and I find a citation zip-tied to my gate. Unapproved roof color. Unapproved roof color. It's been tin since 1965, $250 per week until corrected. I paid it. I paid it. Well, I researched. Turns out my cabin predates the HOA by 3 decades. I drove to 2 weeks after Gus's warning. certified letter, signature required, notice of emergency HOA meeting. 1. I was never invited to. They voted to require a 15,000 infrastructure assessment on all pre-1990 cabins, $15,000, only 4 properties in our entire area qualified as pre-1990 mine, Gus's, Old Man Hemlock's, and one other. Convenient, right? And the engineering firm chosen to conduct these mandatory inspections, owned by Meredith's nephew, a kid who just got his license. The report was fiction. Foundation settling. Yeah, timber frame cabin, settle. It's called physics. I called my buddy Barb. She ran the county assessor's office for 40 years. She knows where all the bodies are buried. She laughed so hard she coughed. Sam, she said, their bylaws require 14 days. Written notice for any special assessment. This meeting happened 6 days after the notice. It's illegal. The whole vote is void. So I sent her a certified letter back. Cure period invoked. Threatened a lawsuit. And then Meredith escalated. She scheduled a follow-up inspection for the exact date of Leo's birthday party. I know. She stalks my social media. I wasn't gonna miss it. So Gus, he offered to house sit, and I did something else. I installed cameras, trail cams, 4 of them hidden, my land, my cameras. Meredith, she showed up anyway with her cousin. Deputy Frank claimed anonymous tip about illegal firearms. I don't even own a gun. Gus, he met him at the door. Need a warrant, but my cameras, they caught something better. After they left, the footage showed Meredith's nephew returning 90 minutes later, alone. He walked around the back with a shovel, and he started digging a trench, deliberately diverting the creek runoff right at my foundation, creating the erosion. His own report had claimed to find watched the footage 3 times. The sound of the shovel scraping on rock. It made my teeth hurt. I filed a police report, showed the video. The deputy, he shook his head. This is a civil matter, Mr. Harmon. A civil matter. That's when I stopped trying to play fair that night. Richard, her husband, showed up at my shop in town. He leaned against my tools, too casual. Look, Sam, businessman, to businessman, 150 for your property, cash. I handle the HOA lines. You walk away clean. It was worth At least $350. I'm not selling. Richard, his eyes went cold. Hate to see things get more complicated for you. Code enforcement inspectors start poking around your shop. You know how it gets. He wasn't just threatening my cabin. He was threatening my livelihood. I drove Pete to the cabin that night, and I installed cameras inside, smoke detector in the living room, bookshelf clock in the hallway, all feeding to cloud storage. And then I made a list. Meredith, some vulnerabilities, her husband's connections, and I called Sheriff Miller. Roy, I said, how would you feel about catching an HOA president committing breaking and entering? He was quiet for 3 seconds. Tell me more. My shop, after hours, looked like a war room. Me, Barb, my daughter, Maya, Gus, Carmen, the single mom. Meredith called CPS on for having bikes on her lawn. Sheriff Miller, he leaned against the wall, listening. Barb, she had the fraud. Meredith was committing tax fraud, exempting herself from her own rules. Barb's intern, Ben, he found the original 1994 charter, the one with my exemption, the one Meredith made disappear from the county database, a felony, and the LLC. Aspen Crest Holdings, that bought all 11 distressed properties. Managing member, Richard Vance, her husband. It wasn't just harassment. It was a criminal conspiracy. So, Miller said, arms crossed. She